You guys, we are so excited. Iron Orchid Designs has 15 new products, and we're gonna show you how to use one of each style of product.
Yeah, we've got some fun projects here coming up, so stay tuned as we display them and show you how to use them.
Let's do some thrift flipping. Pick up the new 2024 Iron Orchid Designs holiday release from JamiRayVintage.com. Les Cloches Mold, Autumn Cottage Mold, Santa's Sleigh Mold, Christmas Tapers Mold, Bibelots Mold, Angelic Tapers Mold, Crimson Velvet Transfer, Yuletide Transfer, Kitschy Christmas Transfer, Frosty's Sweet Shop Stamp, Winter Forest, Vintage Snowflake Stamp, Classical Christmas Stamp, Gloria Paint Inlay, and Tinsel Gilded Transfer. So we're gonna be doing 5 different projects. We're gonna be using the Crimson Velvet Transfer on our tote here. We're gonna be using the Winter Forest stamp for a pillowcase, the Paint Inlay Gloria on our tray, which we've actually already primed. It looks like somebody scratched that. We're gonna be doing a mold book project with Santa's Sleigh. And the last project is going to be the gold gilded transfer on these battery operated lights. And I actually already tried it out.
The interesting thing about these is that they are real wax.
Yeah, they're waxy, but it did work. So I'll show you some tips and tricks.
This is the new Crimson Velvet Transfer. And
this tree is gonna cover up fresh and clean. And we measured it, it is exactly the same width. It's a little bit taller, so you've got some leeway there, but you're gonna have to be exact to cover this. I tried to use a magic eraser and get this off, and it would not come off. So decoupage or transfer is like our only options.
when you're doing a transfer, you want a nice clean surface. Sealed is preferable. If you don't have sealed, make sure you're dust free. We got one chance to get this to cover.
I just line it up on one side and then I think you're covering it. Oh, like the boss you are. This is, because it's like a manufactured finish, it'll go on super easy. And Zeb's just gonna use the applicator stick that it comes with, and you probably should just be able to ride the wave. Oh no! You can see the words behind it, but you know what? It kind of looks ephemeral.
Oh, it just makes it look like it's old signage that's been painted over.
We're gonna go with it. Ta-da! I wonder if we should put like the stocking part across here.
Fresh Christmas trees.
Fresh Christmas
trees. You can't
trees.
see that it says clean underneath.
Fresh Christmas. So we're going to use a transfer on the other side from that same transfer pack. This transfer pack has 8 sheets in it, so there's so many elements that you can make over. You can make ornaments, you can make over existing decor. One of the things I like to do is like something like this. I'll put a Christmas transfer on one side and leave it regular on the other, so that way when it's not Christmas, I can just flip it around and use the other side. This does have ridges, so Zeb's getting everything down on each side of the ridge. And then we'll take the backer off. You just gotta be a little careful when your surface is not completely flat. This is like a next level transfer application. So a lot of people ask us if we seal our home decor. On an item like this, I'm not gonna seal it. If you're a nervous scrubber and you're gonna scrub the heck out of it with a Brillo pad, I mean, even then I don't think sealer would work, but you really don't have to seal this. Just be careful after it's applied. You can just use like a damp rag or whatever, or lightly dust it, just no heavy scrubbing. If you need to, if you use a sealer, make sure you're sealing the whole piece, because otherwise you'll see where you stopped and started with the sheen.
Jamie's gonna model this for you because she's way cuter than I am. But one project down, and that took maybe 5 minutes.
And you know what? I'm going with it, with the little, like, we do lettering on our stuff all the time, so I'm actually okay with that coming through a little bit. Flip it around, you got antlers. I mean, you could go hog wild and transfer the heck out of this, but I'm gonna keep it simple because I think it would be cute with some tall bottles with greenery, or you could just use it as a tote. You could even put like logs by the fire.
Ooh.
So cute.
This is the new Winter Forest stamp, and whenever you get a brand new stamp out, you want to season it. This is just 220 grit sandpaper. I'm going to lightly go over it on the ink side of the stamp. You don't want to sand the opposite side of the stamp because then it won't stick good to your backers. This stamp also comes with a mask, so you can layer your stamps and create an entire forest scene. Okay, we've got our trees from the Winter Forest here. We're just gonna load these up. I've got black ink on here. And then what I'm gonna do after I get them loaded up is I'm gonna rearrange them, and we're gonna use the masks a little bit and just layer on some trees onto this pillowcase. Okay, we're gonna lay this stamp down. I'm probably gonna take it a little bit over the edge so that my trees aren't floating. Granted, this is at the bottom of the pillow where the zipper is. You want it to be pretty juicy when you're going on fabric, so hopefully we got that juicy enough. We'll see how this goes. These are really detailed, so I'm a little nervous that on the fabric they're not going to be super crisp, but let's see what we got. Oh, I feel like that works. That looks good on there. You lost some of the detail because these trees have almost like individual needles on there, but on fabric I don't know that we're going to get any better. Okay, going on with the second set of trees. We have not masked yet. Okay, got that laid down. I just press hard so that the ink gets down on the fabric. All right, we're cruising. We got the masks on here, and I'm gonna do these individually. I'm not gonna put them on the back plate there because I only have 4 of these for the smaller ones, and I went ahead and did 8. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a little one. But we're gonna go ahead and just load this up, and then I will freestyle it on there and just kind of place it where I want it to be. All right, I had to use 2 hands, so I couldn't film placing it down, but now we're just gonna press this on, and then we're gonna peel that off. I'm gonna leave these masks on here, and they'll probably peel up with it, but that's okay. We can grab them and put them back down. All right, got that good and pressed. Okay, we're starting to build a forest. All right, so I found that some of these are a little bit bigger with the design and a little crisper, whereas other ones have like small little tiny needles and they don't do as well on the fabric. However, I think that scene looks pretty good there. I might go back over this one. You can see where I pressed hard with my fingers, so I might go back over that one and see if we can get a little bit darker imagery. We're gonna put a pillow in this sham and see what it looks like.
You want to measure 1 part of each side, side A and B. Zeb tells me I still needed to measure. So I'm hoping that we measured well throughout the whole bottle usage. Once you get them together, you're going to use a spoon or a stick to stir them up. You can also use a paper cup. Just know that if your cup has color to it, sometimes it'll like color your resin. I've had that happen. This in here. This is going to probably take the most. I might have to open a new box.
Yeah, that one's gonna take quite a bit. I think that is 97 grams or 65 milliliters.
It's 65 mil, yeah, you're right. It tells you how much on the side, so you kind of know how much to mix, but it's okay if you're short because you can always just pour on top of it. So we'll mix up some more. You could take the stick that comes with your amazing casting resin and kind of drag it over. You don't have to completely pour your mold and make it as thick as it is. As long as it's fully covered, you'll still get the dimension.
I've also got a Reader's Digest here. It's not a super old one, and it doesn't have the really fun covers on it. It's just kind of plain beige. And we're gonna paint this with the white swan as well.
Let's reveal all the molds. Peel them back. Oh, I didn't even realize there was Santa in that.
Yeah, he's in the sleigh.
He's so cute.
That deer is so you can put it up front. I think it's supposed to be a reindeer.
If you wanted to, you could make a bunch of these and then you could have like them pulling Santa's sleigh.
And presents just flying off the back.
No, I think this is too big for our books, but I'm thinking this we can take and put a few books together and then cut it. So that way when you put them together, it makes a scene, and then tie them together with some ribbon. Okay, so I'm just using DIY's Golden Ticket. It's gonna take a few coats of this, and then I'll use some dark wax, and these will be ready to glue on my books. I'm painting them ahead of time so that way I don't have to be too particular with the paint because I don't want to get it all over the white books. So Zeb really wants to do a book stack. If he was doing the front of a book, I could do like a whole scene situation. So we're going to use just the stag, and we're going to cut it up and then tie a ribbon up here. And we're just going to keep it really simple. We're going to clear and dark wax it and be done. But I do want to show you how cute Santa and all the presents are. Now I have a bunch of these that are all painted up, and I can use them for a future project. We've just decided we're not cutting deer. We're just gonna glue the books together because nobody was reading these anyways, and add some ribbon.
They're old Reader's Digests. It'll be okay.
No, nobody's sad.
You can go get like 1,000 of them tomorrow if you need one. We're gonna stack these up with a little bit of hot glue. Nothing fancy here.
Zeb, how excited are you, 1 to 10, that we're doing a book craft?
Probably like a 9.8.
Zeb has been wanting to craft with books for like forever, and we just haven't done it. My sister is a librarian, so she's gonna be a little bit sad, but these were the Reader's Digest books that we would not sell in the shop because they were not pretty.
I purposely picked these up last week with the intention of painting them, doing something with them, taking the covers off, whatever.
These were crafting books. All right, so now we're just hot gluing the reindeer on here, and then all we have to do is pick ribbon, and I brought my ribbon box from the basement. We're putting the deer on the bottom, so that gives us plenty of space to tie ribbon around the top. So I don't actually need to clear wax the deer, but it's just happening because...
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt it.
Yeah, but I do need to clear wax the DIY paint that I used. We could have used cottage color and white linen, and then we would have had to wax it. I'm using DIY dark wax. I'm making a mess.
Okay,
but I'm gonna work really fast. Pull it back off, leave it down in the details. And it's also gonna get down in the details of the book where it was like embossed. And if you can't get it off the way that you want, you could just use clear wax like an eraser. So I'm just gonna keep working on this till I like it. I got into my ribbon stash. I just pick all this up on Amazon and I keep it around for the holidays. I love velvet and I love the lace ribbon, and I buy it in a bunch of different colors. I decided I wanted to put some ribbon on these books, but I did something a little different. I did not film myself, but I just wrap the ribbon around, glue it in the front, make like a band. I tie the knot separately. You get a much neater knot and it's not so bulky. I snipped my ribbon short so it didn't cover up the pretty deer, but if you wanted a longer, more romantic look, just leave that ribbon long hanging in front of the deer.
It is time for the inlays. I have selected this element off of one of the sheets. We're gonna paint it with some DIY's White Swan, and I'm just gonna do a healthy coat of that down in here, get the sides good. We will distress anywhere we don't want it to be, or may paint the whole thing white. But gonna get this painted up on the sides, and then we will press that inlay down into the wet paint. Okay, I probably can't do this with one hand either, but I'm gonna carefully lay this down into the wet paint. You wanna make sure that you're doing the right side up. This happens to me all the time. So do the dark side of the inlay down into the paint because that's where your paint is. And then I'm gonna get it wet with a damp rag. A lot of people use mist. We like to use the damp rag. We've had great results doing it like that. All right, we got that in there pretty even, and now it's starting to darken up as it comes through. I'm just gonna damp the whole top of this. You can see it gets really dark once I get it damp. I'm gonna be careful not to hit around the edges because I don't want to make a straight line as much as possible. It still might happen, but I'm gonna try to avoid it. Okay, this is good and dried out. Gonna get it wet again so that we can peel it up and it will stay in the other paint that we transferred into. That's why it's a paint inlay.
Because you're gonna inlay it into the paint.
Yep.
You know what? I love that with the black on the outside, so I think we just need to touch up the white on the inside. Then we can just use anvil around the edge to freshen up that black, and it'll look really classy. Okay, let's peel it back.
And it'll be good to go. I have a mister bottle that I only use for crafting, and in this mister bottle is a 50-50 mixture of water and final finishes, which is a satin top coat. So half and half, and I'm going to mist my inlay so that I can set it without smearing it. This is very important. If the inlay gets super wet and you're brushing it, it'll reactivate the paint, you'll smear it all over the place and be very angry. Of note, only mix up what you're going to use and need for your mixture, because if you leave this in here and don't rinse it out, it's a one-time use mister bottle. It will clog that up, seal it up, and you'll be done. Back over to here to see how Jami did. Oh yeah.
So if you push too hard where it's not supposed to be, you can get the gilding to like basically attach to wherever because it's waxy. So just be careful. But it did, so far my set's looking pretty good. I'm gonna just lightly scratch this gold off up top because I didn't want it there, but it'll come off.
Oh, that looks awesome.
I'm using the gilded tinsel transfer on these candles. They have a waxy, even though they're battery operated, they are waxy. And the gilding really just sticks to everything. So I'm really careful to just kind of press where I want the image to come off. And there's been a few times where a little extra gold has came off that I wasn't really planning on. So just keep that in mind. And know that you're probably not gonna be able to seal these. So they are what they are.
Back over to here to see how Jami did. Oh yeah.
So if you push too hard where it's not supposed to be, you can get the gilding to like basically attach to wherever because it's waxy. So just be careful. But it did, so far my set's looking pretty good. I'm gonna just lightly scratch this gold off up top because I didn't want it there, but it'll come off.
Oh, that looks awesome.
I really love how all of our projects came out using the new Iron Orchid Designs Q3 Christmas release. If you need any of these paint and products, you can visit JamiRayVintage.com, as well as our flips. We'll list these up on our website as soon as this video is live.
Jami is probably holding my favorite project. Watch for lots of book projects. We have a ton more molds that we can put on them and play with, so I'm really excited about that.
If you guys like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
We'll see you on the next episode.